I'm very, very convinced in what I'm going to say. Um, let's start. So, as Andy told you, I used to fly up to 2 years ago, F-16 in Israeli Air Force in reserves, where we use augmented reality helmets since the 90s, like almost 25 years of flight with augmented reality. We never called it augmented reality. And actually, in my squad one, it was pretty old technology. It was, if you check it with technology, it's bad. It's heavy. The center of gravity is shit in 9Gs. You have your neck ruined. The accuracy of the tracker is not bad. Is not good. It could be 2 or 3 degrees outside, even more on when you look at the sides. But with all this bad stuff, even if it's old, we love to use it because, and the reason, because it makes you see the most important information overlaid on the real world. Like, where is your friend, where is your enemy, where is the ground target, without losing the physical focus and your mind, and keep understanding the picture. If I need to look inside the cockpit to see the speed or to see where my friend is and to understand it, I lose a lot of precious time to build the picture again, the battle picture again. So actually, up till now, in terms of wearable augmented reality, the only place that it's bring some benefits, it's for fighter pilots. I'm like, all the other stories, and you can see it in the consumer market, are not going. So this slide is the misleading one. It's not where you need AR, is why you don't need augmented reality, or why you don't need wearable augmented reality. And as I told you before, maybe many people can think differently, but many people can be wrong. The first place is where you can use your smartphone. You will use your smartphone. You will not use augmented reality. You don't want to wear additional weight on your face. Even a small glasses like Google Glass, people didn't like to wear. You don't want to put something on your head if you don't have to, even if it's very light. You don't want to look like a glass hole. You don't want to go with something that is looking like glass hole. Glass hole is not like it's not something that I invented. Like, people that wore this Google Glass look glass holes. You don't want to place data all the time in front of your eyes unless you actually need it. You don't need it all the time in front of you. You want it to be removed. Where you can use virtual reality or non-wearable augmented reality, it's much better in a lot of physical aspects, like the brightness, the contrast, the cost, the availability, and a lot of other reasons. And you can find other reasons why augmented reality or wearable augmented reality is not that good in a lot of aspects. And to actually prove what I'm saying is the market that says his word. And he can repeat the numbers of how it is spread worldwide, augmented reality. I'm talking about wearable, but you can see Magic Leap, billions of dollars wasted, and they got a shitty device that nobody can use. No need for their device. Nobody will wear it because it can, you say, a 3D game of sports. Even if it will be small, you don't want to wear it. You see the story of Google Glass. They tried to make it very, very small, and it was not augmented reality. So it was the bad stuff of two worlds. You wear something, and it's not augmented reality. Nobody wants to use it. The Meta, they bought the biggest talents worldwide, spent $150 million, and closed down. ODG, Dakri, even HoloLens. The HoloLens story is actually very nice. They have the best technology. This is Microsoft. They know how to do stuff. They understand technology better than all of us together. And they're doing it not because they want to sell huge amount of HoloLens. They're losing billions of dollars. It's not a good business for them. They're doing it to build the technology. So the market has spoken. The only like I'm reading all the time about the Apple's device, the Apple's product. Apple know how to make products, actual product that people would love to know to use. And I'm waiting like every year we hear the next year, the next year, and the next year. And there are a lot of actually gaps till it will be a device that you want to go to on the street with it. So this is all these reasons make it, and actually all these reasons make this augmented reality, wearable augmented reality market as it is today. So where do I don't believe or myself believe that augmented reality is needed? It's actually needed, and it's not a technology seeking for product, seeking for use case. Like Andy or Barry, you talked about like a knee surgery with augmented reality. Excuse me, it's a nice story, not more than that. It's kind of nobody will buy it. Like the regulation for augmented reality do some kind of surgery, it will be only like to see some data. This is not where augmented reality is needed, not for the mass production. And we are talking about mass. We don't care about the small devices. So where it is needed, we believe it's needed where you wear something big on your head, like you're on a motorcycle, you're riding a bike, you're riding an e-scooter or whatever, you're skiing or snowboarding, and you don't care. You don't look a glass hole when you wear it. So these are the places. The places that you cannot use your cell phone, or it is dangerous to use a cell phone, or it's not convenient to use a cell phone, like your bike, like snowboarding, skiing, like the guy like he was looking on the e-scooter on his cell phone while riding. So these are the places that it's good to use a augmented reality device on your head. Another place is where, or like combining all the places where it is important for you to see something on the way ahead. And it's not only these devices or where you put it, it's not only that, it's the thing that once you decide what market you go or what product you are making, is one very important thing is how you make it, how you do it. And understanding augmented reality, um, it's difficult. We saw some very bad experiences with augmented reality for motorcycles, with some companies building devices, Scully AR, and you can hear about more. Augmented reality, like the user interface and the user experience, is very, very important. Important stuff. If you don't put important stuff, you don't want it to disturb on while you're skiing, while you're riding a bike. So what are the challenges? The challenges, first of all, it's a physical device. It's going to be big, and you have to take all this consideration, together, like the size, the weight, the battery size, the field of view, all this combining together. And it's physics, just like a curious. It's the first device ever, the first display ever that Lumos sold was to my project at Rahel. I was leading the augmented reality at Rahel, and we bought the first unit for $10,000. And the optics, the augmented reality, like the display itself, it's the same as today, 20 years ago, just to understand. So this is the physical side as a very, very big challenge. The other challenge is you want the augmented reality, the object that you overlay on the real world will be on the right place. They're going to be accurate. They're going to place there stable and fast. If you don't do it, the experience of augmented reality will be very bad. So the orientation, like where to place the objects, it's a challenge. And to do that, you need 3 types of data. First, it's your location, and your location is based on the GPS, so it's easy. Then the other person, or like the let's say the ski lift location, which is also easy. You just need the database with the location of the stuff you need to see on the display. And the last thing is the orientation of your head, or orientation of the display, since it's a wearable device. And this is the biggest issue in terms of algorithms, because unlike indoors, you cannot place a camera outside to look at your head to understand it. You don't want to put some in, so there is no outside in tracking. And in terms of inside-out tracking, you don't have any markers. You cannot place markers overlaid on the real world. You're using Earth coordinates, and the and the and the attitude is based on the magnetometer. The magnetometers are shit because you don't know how inaccurate, and there are interference from everywhere. So combining all this, combining computer vision and sensor fusion, we understand how to figure this out at Tridon. So this is a very big challenge in terms of augmented reality for outdoors. What we do is actually we build the augmented reality infrastructure and build an SDK and a companion app. And the idea is to make like a general device, uh, a module, augmented reality module. You can place it in application like both in goggles and then in helmets. Could be like ATVs, ski. On the other side, like in motorcycles and then other stuff. So this is our main idea, and we were focusing on ski up till a year ago. We were like on last January, we were like starting to sell out this device, this cool device that you see a video in a second. It was going very well till the COVID hit us and like changed the whole plans. Um, so what's the technology is, as I explained, is how to place the virtual objects on the real world in one hand, how to do this user interface, and we have some patents on that, and to combine all this to a product that people would like to use. And I'm saying people, when I'm saying people, it's not augmented reality enthusiasts. It's most of our users are actually don't know what is augmented reality. And this is what's the best of our product. This is a video taken by San Anton in Austria Media. They love the product and they did this video. Some features of the goggles that you can see, like this is regular stuff like speed, altitude, and what you can see. All operation is hands-free. You just look to the symbols in the sky and it operates. It's very intuitive how to operate it. You'll understand it in 1 second. It has 3D maps of all ski resorts in the world, or like most of them. It has a camera with AR on it, so we can record, and you actually can send it live. You have a friends locator and some other cool stuff. Along the way, we are not a very well-funded startup, to say the least, and we were seeking for other opportunities other than ski. We understand that ski before the COVID, it's a seasonal market. It has a huge potential, 200 million skiers, and ski market in China is blowing up. So we're thinking about motorcycles. So we have a POC. This is a snapshot from for motorcycle, and this is from Toyota. A project we did is Toyota helmet for it's called the Gazoo Racing. It's their sports cars. So for it's called the Friday drivers on the track. They can use it to have some fun, see some data. This is us in a nutshell. Like this is what we think about augmented reality, that its place, the only place for wearable devices, it's outdoors, where it don't look stupid and it brings you benefit, not because it's the best technology. And as I said before, one of the most things that I'm very proud of is that when you use this, when you give it a try for a skier on the mountain, they put it up and they say, whoa, like that. They smile. They don't have to understand anything about augmented reality. And I believe this will be the first place augmented reality, like skiing, motorcycle, this is the first place augmented reality is, wearable augmented reality is going to start. Later in few years, that nobody knows. And that's all. Thank you. I'm ready for questions, Andy.
Thanks, Alon. Pass to Barry for the questions. Thanks, guys.
Okay, thank you so much, Alon. It was awesome. So we had a question about how bright the goggle display needs to be for your outdoor applications. I imagine on a on a ski slope, you'd have to really have high luminance.
Yeah, the brightness issue is bright. It's an issue in everything outdoors. However, since we're using a ski goggles, and ski goggles are when it's bright, you put like a sun shield, like when you fly, you have a sun shield. So the sun shield, yeah, the tinting, like it's about 90% like shut like
Cuts out the not a cut
yeah,
cut
yes,
filter.
yes. This is an issue like this is the brightness and contrast ratio. It's good enough. This is a thing that we have to understand. We are seeking in terms of the hardware, in terms of the optics, we were searching for the good enough, not for the best. Because if you search for the best field of view, you get a 160 field of view with huge device. If you search for the best brightness, you get 2000 foot Lambert with this size of a battery. So all the things is it's combination that you have to understand before you build a device. You don't want to win a field of view, the best field of view device. You want a device that everybody can use.
Awesome. It seems like you deal with a lot of the problems of standard AR, because if you're going from indoor to outdoor environment. If you're in an outdoor environment only, you already got the cut, and so that deals with it right off the bat. Awesome. It might be other companies could learn about that. I was thinking about Alpha Micron, that they also sell a filter for ski goggles as well. And they're out of Ohio, so I was thinking about them because of our Ohio visitor today. One more question: do you have any partnerships with the type of extreme? You're talking about raising money. If you got on one of these extreme skiers or wave snowboarders, stuff like that.
We were on the edge of getting some partnerships with ski brands like Salomon and some other like Uvex. And the problem is, like, in this January they stopped everything. They got stuck with huge stock of devices, and they are not placing any $1 on investing on any new technology right now. So it's more than 1 year of frozen business in terms of ski.
Yeah,
so
it must be tough. All right, well, we're looking forward to that. If we can help you, anyone out in the audience can help, please get in touch. Feel free to send your contact information, website in the chat, and it'll also be posted on the Meetup and probably on the website as well.
We are like the time right now. We are not focused on ski. We're focused on other applications. We got some cool POC running on motorcycle, and we are entering the fitness stuff, but this is only on the beginning. So this COVID also made some good stuff, like make us think again what's the best and what to be focused on.
Awesome. We wish you the best. Thank you so much. Look forward to your more good stuff, and maybe get you out in the dream mall in the skis slope inside. All righty, next up, Andy.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Alon, for a wonderful presentation. Now, I'm going to share my screen for a minute before we go to Assaf. Let's see here. Okay. Sorry about this. Process takes a while to resume. 1 second. Okay, next up we have Assaf Levy-Beeri, who we're really excited to have. He's a physicist, optical engineer, and micro display expert. Definitely check out some of his posts on OLEDinfo.com. I found them fascinating and only understood half of it, but for those who understand more, definitely read it. They're very comprehensible guides on the technology that goes into powering the headset, so highly recommended. Assaf also is the founder of Joya Teams. Joya Teams designs and develops optical headsets for micro displays for AR and VR systems primarily. and also Heads Up Displays. Their partners range from Lumiode, who we met with last week, to Microsoft, to Augmentics, who's using AR to navigate complex tissue and surgery. So we're really excited to have you here, Assaf. If you want to go ahead and share your screen, we look forward to your presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Andy. Hi, hello, everyone. Thank you, Andy and Barry, for inviting me here. It's great to be here. In the next 10 minutes, I will discuss shortly about the Joya team, the company that I founded with 3 of my best friends and partners 2 years ago. And I will share with you an idea that we call the virtual prototyping, which we think is a valuable tool as a part of the toolkit of any augmented reality and virtual reality and any display system developer. And I hope it will be useful for you. So a little bit about ourselves. We are 4 partners, physicists, optical engineers, optical designers. We have started 20 years ago at a company called Elbit Systems at the optical department there as students. We were in the development of helmet-mounted display systems, the kind of systems that Alon has mentioned at the beginning. And indeed, at the beginning, these were small field of view and very heavy systems. But during the years, we were deeply involved in the development of high resolution and large field of view, even 80 degrees field of view of a helmet for pilots that are currently today are used in all around the world in air forces and commercial aviations. And in some cases are also used for sports applications and medical applications. 2 years ago, we have decided to found our own company, Joya team, and we provide optical system engineering and services for technology companies. We always say about ourselves that we are lucky to grow at the best school for augmented reality and virtual reality, starting at Elbit Systems, and we have over 70 years together of combined experience in AR and head-up display development, as well as cameras and other displays and optical systems. This is a part of the customers we are working and worked with in the last 2 years, from early stages startups to large organizations. We are focused on augmented reality, but we are also working with LiDAR systems and other kinds of optical systems at various market and segments. One example that may be interesting here is Augmentics. It's an Israeli startup developing augmented reality for spinal surgery. Got FDA approval in the last year, and we helped them get this approval, and now they are developing new projects, and we are with them on that. So medical, for example, is a great application for augmented reality, and it's evolving today. Our approach is to combine all the optical systems aspects, not only imaging or optical design, but also non-imaging illumination, which is more related to light and the light path in the optical systems, responsible for the color and uniformity and transmission and contrast ratio. We also combine the new technologies and display technologies and the illumination technologies, and we also design and develop the testing equipment and building prototypes and transferring from development to production. We believe that combining all of these aspects will lead to an optimal system at the exact working point of the user, for the user and the customer, and will lead to a system, to an augmented reality system, which is affordable, testable, and manufacturable, and of course, meets all the requirements. So this is us. I'd like to talk with you a little bit about virtual prototyping. So everybody understand the importance of using prototypes during the development stages. We are using a prototype in augmented reality first to validate the system requirements, since this is a very new area. Not all of us know exactly, even us with a lot of experience, we don't know exactly what requirements and what user needs are required. So we are building, in some cases, prototypes to validate and understand the user needs. We also use prototypes to show the image quality and get feedbacks from the developers and users and customers and even potential investors. We can use prototypes to mitigate risks in the technical risks in the development, and as a proof of concept during the development. So what makes a good prototype? So first, prototype should answer the correct question. And we need to know how to ask this question. No less than that, but no more than that, because a prototype may require resources and takes time. We had the experience to build prototypes in the past that took a lot of time and a lot of efforts. And at the end, we got good answer for the question, but it was half the way to a product. This is not a good prototype. We need to have a prototype, a cheap prototype with short time that looks real and visual, and that provides a good value for us. In optical systems development, it's a little bit different than mechanics and software, for example. In augmented reality, especially in augmented reality, the optics is customized in most cases. You cannot find an off-the-shelf lens and assemble a prototype of it. That's why it is very complicated in most cases to build a prototype of an optical system, especially a display system. And that's when we can use the virtual prototyping, which is actually a simulation, optical simulation using light tools, so Code 5 simulation that provides an accurate and a valuable image of the system. So as I said, virtual prototype, we're using light tools and Code 5. I will show you afterwards some examples. And the main advantage that we can do it very shortly at a low cost. And in most cases, it's based on the actual optical design that we have already did. So we have the infrastructure and we should use it for the optical simulations, and it can provide accurate image of the system, of the expected performances, and a lot of important and valuable information. But if you need to use it, you still need to remember that it requires experience, because you have to understand what you see from the image, and in some cases you even need to adjust or calibrate it for it to be beneficial. These are some examples that are done in light tools. This is head-up display systems of a car. This is actually a simulation where we use an external background as an image and internal image. This is simulation done on a real optical systems. And here you can see a lot of artifacts that in most cases you get at a real product and it is too late to fix it. So in that case, you can see examples for the contrast ratio, the luminance. You can see if the contrast ratio is sufficient in this case, or you need more brightness, for example. You can see how is the color uniformity in this case. And here it is not very uniform. This is something you can discover at early stage of the development and fix it. You can see how the see-through transmission looks like, and if it's sufficient for the user or not. You can see here even other artifacts like this artifacts, and here you can see a prismatic deviation and a lot of things that in most cases you see them only if you have built your image and you have a prototype or a product. This is another example of a lighthouse analysis where you are doing ghost analysis, and you want to know if you have ghost in your system and how actually it looks like. In many cases you have ghost, but it's invisible. In this case, it's a severe ghost, and this is something you need to fix during the development, during the analysis. So this is another example. The next example is to use Code 5. We are doing the optical design with Code 5 analysis. This is an example of what the optical designer looks. Optical designers thinks that everyone understands these curves, but this is not true. And you can build these curves and provide the user or the customer the feeling how it is going to look like in a real system. So this is an example of how to do it for someone who is not understand good the optical design. And this is the target, for example, a real image that we put as a target for the optical systems. And this is the real image after the optical system. This is how the user is going to see the exact image. You can see the differences between the target and the real image. Here you can see that you have distortion, for example, and the resolution is degraded comparing to the target. You see the differences here? And you see what we call vignetting, and some kind of non-uniformity here. So this is another example for these kinds of analysis that you can do at relatively low resources at a short time. That's it from my side. This image is from our last meeting of the AWE in Tel Aviv. On the left, this is Yossi, my partner, our CEO, trying the lip motion prototype. It was great to meet 1.5 years, and we will be happy to go back to face-to-face meetings. I encourage you to talk with us and ask us a question even after these meetings. Please contact us. And we have also a blog where we write a lot about system engineering of augmented reality and virtual reality systems, and a lot of technical information. So please feel free to write to us and contact us for anything. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Assaf. Really thorough, awesome presentation. We have a lot of questions. We just have time for one. So the practical type of question, about approximately how long is it to take to create a prototype? I would think they're referring to the hardware, and then for you to do the simulations of that prototype. I think maybe they're asking for how long it is to take to make the simulation. So you can take it either way. How long it takes for a customer to give you different versions of their hardware, and the simulation for you to make the simulations using light tools and any other software. And what's a approximate cost, at least starting cost to work with you guys?
Well, if we compare the time that it takes to create a real prototype comparing to a virtual prototype, so a real prototype of optics requires at least few months, and you need a lot of money to do it in most cases, because the optics is not off the shelf. So you need to after you have designed the optical systems, you need to find manufacturers and to have them produce the optics and the mechanics and assemble it. And in most cases, you even need to calibrate it and to put the display. It takes more than a few months, and it costs a lot of money. If you already have the optical design, you can take it and build a simulation around it. It should take few weeks that you get until you get a valuable image, a very accurate image. In some cases, you even need to adjust it or to make some calibration of it, but it works. It works good, and it's very valuable. And you have to, you can take decisions based on this information. So the cost is around, I don't know, a few hundreds of hours of work. This is more or less.
Okay. So everyone sign up with the Joya team. We saw some of your team members joined, asked some great questions as well. We appreciate that. And check out the blog. If people are asking about analysis of other people's technology, which I'm sure you could do, I mean, depending upon confidentiality, unless you are like Carl Guttag and just take it and tear it apart and put it on your own blog. But yeah, we can have you guys debate that next time. Maybe they'll have a panel. Alrighty, cool. We'll move to the next one. Thank you again.
Thanks.
Andy. And we're gonna have Rahel from XR Bootcamp join us shortly, coming all the way from Germany.
Thank you, Assaf. That was excellent. Really nice to hear what you guys are doing and how you started. Nice to hear Joya Teams is a close family. So really excited about that. And I'm also really excited that Rahel is here. It's so nice to have you. Rahel is from what I understand, she is democratizing the AR and VR space by allowing academic institutions and developers a way to collaborate, giving scholarships to schools to buy headsets and to facilitate VR and AR lab programs. And more recently, she's given developers and designers the opportunity to enter the AR space with Unity certified XR Bootcamp, where you can go from 0 to 100 and learn how to be an AR developer and get a role in the career. Or if you already have existing knowledge, then you can learn some more advanced tools like hand tracking and some other cool things. So Rahel, it's a pleasure to have you here, and take it away. Thank you.
Thanks. so much for this great intro and also for inviting me to join this meetup. And yeah, I'm just quickly going to share my screen. There we go. Yeah, and it's always cool to have these kind of events to connect the global XR community. And I would also like to extend the invitation to the XR Bootcamp series. We are always inviting like technical speakers to talk about about their work and their takeaways and their learnings. And as you can see here, like one of them was, for example, Julia Schwartz. I think that may definitely be interesting for some of you, and you can also because that was last year already, but that was just awesome, and you can check that out on our YouTube channel. For example, it's a very interesting speech. And yeah, and if you check xrbootcamp.eventbrite.com, you will see that we have a lot of upcoming nice lectures as well. And there's one coming in February with Microsoft Research about avatars and locomotion. So yeah, this is basically also our efforts to bring together the community and have everyone learn more about virtual reality and augmented reality. In terms of our classes, yeah, we, as already mentioned, we are definitely trying to bring you from 0 to hero, and also we are having a huge focus on advanced classes as well. And how did we actually get to that? We have a great, I mean, because from VR First, it's already, we are doing VR First for the last 6 years already, sorry, for 5 years already. And what we did there was we were collecting a lot of hardware donations from big companies and distributing them to universities all around the world to basically allow them to teach VR and AR at university level. But what we realized over the course of the years is that it's still not enough. Like there's not enough education. There's a lot of demand for expert VR AR developers. And that's why we started to create our own boot camps and to create our own master classes where you really get deep into the topics, and it's always focused on portfolio project creation, so that in the end of these classes you always have something to show, which will definitely promote, you can definitely use to promote yourself in your company, or of course also to just get into the industry at all. And yeah, it's working quite nicely so far. We have, our alumni are always very happy that even when you're advanced, you're basically finding still very new content in our classes. And we are definitely focused always on live mentorship and on live support to really answer. It's not just like a video you watch. You really should be practicing what we're teaching, and you should really get out proudly out of our classes with a portfolio project. And so our partner, I mean, this is like all companies which have taken our classes, but also our partner advisory board. Our advisory board is coming from these companies, and they are always advising us on which skills to teach. So it's very, very important for us that the skills that we are teaching are really in demand by the industry. So yeah, that's why we definitely focus on. And I thought that actually one of the most interesting classes we are offering soon is basically the rapid prototyping class, because there you're really focused on in a few weeks, basically create your own prototypes of whatever your project you're bringing to us. And there's, for example, also like one class which is focused on augmented remote support. We haven't decided the next date of this class yet, as you can see, but it's upcoming soon, probably in March. And there, basically in 5 weeks, we are creating an augmented reality remote support application, and it's being taught by our trainers are always like very senior professionals working in companies, and here the trainers are actually from Telecom. So and Telecom is already using this kind of mobile augmented reality apps widely across their business. And also we have one where you're creating in 4 weeks also a VR training simulation. And there, the next course we are going to start is basically focusing on medical XR, because we're seeing a very big need there in that industry. And I don't know why it's not showing, but yeah, as I've already said, I mean, for us, it's really, really, really important that we have this community aspect, that we're always connecting with each other in live classes, that our learning experience is project-based. You always get homework, you always get very challenged in all our classes, and the skills you learned are really directly applicable to industry challenges. And yeah, that's basically it. And just like, yeah, for the most useful AR remote applications, what we're seeing is really, I mean, there's already like a lot of studies being done, right? Like everything that's being explained. For example, there is like a study from Microsoft that when you're using AR user manuals, that you have a lot of like time reduction in order to like understand information, right? You will really be much quicker in understanding manuals with augmented reality support. Yeah, for product configuration, there's like Marks and Labs, which did a study of, and they did, yeah, basically they saw an 80% decrease in product returns. And also Shopify saw like a 2.5 sales conversion increase with their AR product personalization apps. And yeah, that was about one more. So yeah, and if you allow your customers to also do more of the design and selection process themselves, yeah, there's a lot of time reduction in the design validation time, basically. Yeah, thanks very much for this very short yeah, insight into XR Bootcamp. And I'm also happy if there is any questions to answer those.
Barry, take it away. Any questions from the audience?
Okay, thank you so much, Rahel. So regarding the time after you finish the course, how does it work to get set up with a job? How do you help that process?
Yeah, sure. I mean, right now, like we have mostly advanced classes, and we definitely also had people who actually, yeah, got the right connections with people and found a job afterwards. But so far, really, we had a lot of people who already were in jobs and who didn't really need that help. But we're definitely set up for that. Like we have lots of yeah, company industry partners and also like recruiting firm partners, which are really looking at our database and of people, of course, of alumni, and yeah, and helping if it's needed. But so far yeah, like there's like 2 participants which we were able to help in that regard, as the only 2 who were asking us. So, but yeah, of course, it's one of our biggest focus in terms of, yeah, placements of students.
Awesome, cool. So with regards to how you guys code, you train people that have existing coding, but how do you work with these so-called standard boot camps that teach like web development, machine learning, data science? Do you work in tandem with them, or is this really separate?
No, actually in tandem, because like, yeah, as I said, like we are more like advanced level. So we are actually collaborating with other bootcamps because it's a great second bootcamp if you're motivated to do so, right? Because for us, it's much easier to work with students which already have some basically development and coding knowledge, right? And you will also yeah, get much more out of our courses if you already have some basic knowledge. So we are always like working with, for example, with Levy-Beeri and with Ironhack, and yeah, and always like being at their basically career days, because then we're offering our boot camps there as well.
So you're kind of not quite zero to hero, it's more like half the hero.
We're going to launch Zero to Hero, like that's definitely on the plan, but it will take probably longer to get people up to speed. Like for example, the classical bootcamp is like 3 months, right? And we're now planning to actually do it like around like, yeah, 6 months at least, because we really need to teach basically what you're learning in a coding bootcamp, and then the VR AI aspects on top of that. So yeah, but we're right now working on that.
So when is the next course for the standard? If your basic course, assuming the basic standard knowledge, when are you offering the next course?
It really depends on which one. Like, for example, like we have this VR interactions, right, or this AR remote support. Like we have one starting on 15th of February, and then in March there's 2 more classes starting. But I'm inviting you to really check the websites to get the dates of the classes that you're interested in.
Cool. Yeah, we put your website on there. And one other question: are haptics coded within the hand tracking and interaction? Like, how are that? I mean, I know that's still really a new sense that's to be added to AR, but are you already thinking about adding haptics to your classes?
I mean, we're definitely thinking about it, but also I can maybe like send the link to the curriculum, because then you can see it in detail how it's going, because it's definitely one of our very interesting classes. I don't know if some of you know Dennis Kühnert. He's teaching that class, and he's really yeah, that's a, you saw that, yeah, and he's really very good at yeah, at all these interactions and hand tracking especially. specifically.
Yeah, one question. I was actually I was checking out another class or another program, and I saw that you had Shopify in your presentation. Do you happen to know? I know they're out of Canada. I don't know if you worked with one of their VPs of product, Daniel Gross, but he was.
No, that was like just like from one of the people who attended. I don't
Okay.
recall the name, but yeah, he just attended our classes, so I don't know exactly.
Okay, cool. All right, so thank you so much.
Beautiful.
Because I just got a direct message, and I just wanted to say, like, for example, for the VR training application class we're offering, it's basically we're matching designers with developers, and then like you're basically teams, right? And then you're developing the whole application together. So as a non-techie, you can come, right? You're learning the whole design aspect of everything, and then the developer is going to, on the other track, is basically going to implement what you're doing. So we're always like doing this kind of like code tracks so that we can, yeah, directly match people together. So.
Sweet. Thanks, Rahel. That was awesome. Sounds like a great program. Sweet. Thank you, guys. Let's open the floor up for any questions for all the speakers. If you want to throw in the chat, or Barry, if you want to put some questions in. If you want to hang out a few minutes after. I know time's up right now, but if you want to hang out for like 5 more minutes, ask some questions, that'd be great.
Okay, Olga had a nice question. So from Joya, I had a question for Ride On. So is Alon over there? Good.
Yeah.
How sure are you of the use case? And does the product have a market? And how much would it cost? So kind of intense questioning, but she's in the know. So what do you have to say to that?
Just a second. I'm sure about what market?
I mean, I think you're talking most about skiing, but I mean, let's say, which is your most solid use case?
Skiing is the first product that we entered. The idea of Ride On was not to develop the actual product, but to build the infrastructure. The reason that we built the whole product, or we integrated a lot of stuff, is because we had no other option. You cannot use a HoloLens or other device, which is not that good. The question about the market, the ski snowboarding market is a very big one. There are about 150 to 200 million skiers worldwide, and the average salary is $100K a year. The business is there. It's people that are searching, like they're investing 100 euros a day just to get up the lifts. So it's people with money. It's not people without money. The other aspect is China. China that supposed to have the Winter Olympics in 2022. They're investing billions and billions of dollars, making resorts and like a lot of money on technology. So the idea is, yes, there's a big market there, the big market potential, but there is a big issue about the seasonality. Like it's very season, so you have to make your products and be ready before the season. So it's not easy to penetrate in this market. Good and bad. We had a lot of reasons to start with ski snowboarding. But it turns out like one bad season and it like ruins a year or more than a year of your work. So and COVID did this to us in terms of ski. The other markets, this is what I believe. If there's a market, the market is outdoors. The market is like in this use case where you need it, not where you have the technology and we're searching to do something very cool. The other question would be the cost. Yeah. The problem with the cost is the chicken and egg issue. There are not a lot of products there. Not of currently the manufacturing of the display itself is expensive. It's very, very, very expensive. You just cannot buy it. You can buy Vuzix, Lumus, like the cost if you want like a very thin, not just a thin display, it costs you hundreds of dollars, just the bill of material, because of the very small quantities. you can see you can like Vuzix, for example, is a public company. You can see their reports. They have very good product that nobody buys, so the quantities are very small. To build a production line that makes it for a few dollars cost hundreds of millions of dollars probably. The same issue with Lumos and Quanta. To make it low cost, we are not there yet.
Well, I assume it's less than $38,000 for the Canon.
Sorry,
yeah. The Canon top of the line, but that's probably already a prototype. That price, it doesn't even seem to make sense.
Yes,
even
it's
for enterprise,
going down, but very, very, very slowly. Like the technology, it's physics, and physics is shit. It's not like progressing like software. Oops, it's easy. You have batteries, you have electronics, you have optics. Assaf can tell you it's not easy. And still, you have devices like huge devices. So it's not like that you change it.
So maybe you guys are gonna. So maybe they'll build an indoor mountain in Dubai, and you could sell it over there. That would be a good business for you. So
they have an indoor ski in Dubai.
So I'm sure they have the cash for that.
Yeah.
All righty, let's go to Assaf. Hamakshi had a question asking about what type of prototype is the best that they should try for. To me, to interpret that, I'm thinking, do you have like a reference prototype? Similarly to what Alon is saying, is there like a reference frame, reference device that you always go to, like a Loomis or Vuzix or Imagine or Oculus or something that I mean, some are VR, but there's some reference that you would recommend that someone getting into this field that wants to try to do some prototypes to work with you on to develop some new device?
Well, it's a very good question. The short answer is no. And I'd like to explain. It depends on the use case. If you understand correctly the use case, then, in our opinion, this is the most important level of developing an augmented reality system. So if you understand good the use case, so you can translate it to the actual requirements, and then you need to build the system, the AR system, according to the use case. I think that every company, even large companies like Microsoft and Magic Leap, which is not very large but had a lot of money, has proved it. They intended to build augmented reality for many markets, but still no one buy it. On the other hand, we know some systems that are sold not in large quantities, but are sold, and users are happy with it. So I think you have to understand better the use case, and then to build your system at the exact working point. And you can do it. You don't need to have billions of dollars of budget to do it. We are doing it with customers that defines well their intended use, and it doesn't have to be a billion-dollar company.
Okay, so I guess anyone can get into it and call you guys up and work, as long as they have a really defined use case. There might be a chance for them to bring a new product to market. I guess using an existing device as well would be a cheaper way to do it. That makes you think about like Third Eye, Jen. That I wonder what device that they're using in their product. Okay, so let's just go around to Rahel. Any more questions for her? Oh, someone asked, I just see in the chat if it's a good question, but I was wondering if anyone had resources integrating computer vision models with AR applications. So, I mean, that seems like a question for Assaf, but anyone is welcome to take that question. Nobody? We're integrating computer vision models with the AR apps.
That might be more of a software question, right? From what I'm understanding.
Yeah.
Like an image, like a Google Lens type situation.
Okay, so
Right,
that's for
right.
Rahel.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say there's definitely some good use cases of that you could find on the App Store or Google Play. But I'd actually maybe rephrase it for Rahel, and I would wonder if you offer any computer vision courses in XR Bootcamp.
No, we don't have any directly computer vision courses, but we always have great speakers joining our like free open lectures. So I would definitely like invite you to check out that out. Like for example, the one with Microsoft Research in February, like in terms of haptics, that's very interesting. And and so maybe
For
computer
sure.
vision is also one of the topics we will
I'll
have.
be there. I'll definitely be there.
Yeah, if I could ask one more question, put it to everyone. So some people, I don't know if it's the same person, keeps saying if there's a use case, people will come like Niantic's Pokemon Go, but that happened one time and it was kind of like a one-off thing, maybe a couple months. But I mean, no one has repeated that. I thought they were building another application for the Harry Potter series, but I didn't hear any, and nothing has come out of that. So, you know, yeah, it worked great one time, but it has not been replicated. So, you know, did you? I mean, I think they're asking, you know, what is the killer app? I guess if someone knew that, they wouldn't be here. They'd probably be developing it and would be opening it, releasing it, you know, and showing us, like Tim Cook or someone. So I don't know if Pokemon Go is the greatest example.
You know what? I think to answer that one, Barry, I think that we have the killer apps, but and I'm hoping that the micro display technology can help us get there, maybe with the micro LEDs. I'm not sure, but it was really interesting to hear what Lumio had to say and how we're progressing these headsets to a smaller form factor with this new technology. Perhaps that will help us enable these killer apps. Once we have that there, once these smaller form factors possible, I think that and the headsets become more accessible to the consumers, I think that we'll have more access to these apps and everyone will have their own use cases and their own killer apps. I don't think there's going to be one app necessarily that will solve AR and push it to the masses. I think it's probably more so on the hardware side, which is really interesting why we always have hardware folks.
Yes, that's what we try to do.
Yeah.
If you would like to speak at a future event, thanks for the segue, then please let me or Andy know, send us an email, message, whatever, Meetup, tell your friends. And I'd like to thank Rahel for being the first representative of the female persuasion keynote speaker.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we hope to have more diverse speakers as well. Thanks, everyone.
Been great. Thanks.